Welcome into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I am here. Don't do that. You're messing me up. Welcome in, everybody. I am here. It is a Wednesday, the 13th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2026. I hope you've had a good morning, and I hope the last 21 hours since we last visited have gone well as well. I am here, Big Sky Mountain Mosley here, making sure we can broadcast to as many people across the globe as is humanly possible. We do that through the terrestrial airwaves here in the state of Alabama, but also we do it on the YouTubes. You can go search for Scott Beason, and you'll eventually see a little button for my channel, a white-looking golf shirt, gray hair. Click on there, go to live, and you can listen every day. And it is getting closer and closer to the top, but I still need you to go there and check it out. And I think it's working. I think all the mics are on. I think all that kind of stuff is happening. So you can go there, and that way it'll eventually get to the top and outrank all of the bad stuff that was put out by old television stations, old mainstream media, and things of that nature when I was in the legislature. And Eubank is with me, and I'm going to have to adjust the cameras again, I think. Let's see if we have oh, no, she is on the split screen with us. So fantastic. We'll zoom in on her a little bit so y'all can see Ann.
I've already told you, don't you get too
There
close.
you go. Look at that. Look at that high definition view of Ann Eubank. She is with us, and we appreciate Ann and all she does for the state of Alabama. Ann, how are you this morning?
I'm good, except I must have a sign written across my forehead, pull out in front of me, because I had like 5 people just right in front of me, and I'm thinking, do I have a sign that says "Get in front of me"?
No, it's just because you look nice, and they thought that's a nice lady. I'll just pull out in front of her.
Little do they know.
Are you sure you hadn't reached that age where you were like running through red lights and they were pulling out in front of you because they were supposed to? Because that does happen to people.
Well, that's not in a certain age. I think I've been doing that for a long time.
You were distracted. Today was the first day. I saw somebody. And, there's nothing more irritating, Sky, when somebody says, whether it's on social media or you hear it on the radio, and it just kind of stings, and you're like, I wish that person would shut up. And I figure I get that sometimes. But this person says something about getting angry while you're driving.
I'm not.
No, I'm like, what is wrong? I talk to them just like I'm doing the show, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Are you brain damaged? How does that make any sense? Why would you? This is the things I'm saying to people when I'm driving. Why would you do that? So you basically you had to pass me at 90 miles an hour because I'm not driving the speed limit to get in front of me and then slow down.
Right.
I'm like, are you doing it just because of me? Do you not like my bumper stickers or whatever? And then I saw somebody who said, if you get angry all the time because of drivers, you really need to question kind of your
pent up frustration.
Yes. Do you have other anger issues? Because is that really that big a deal? So for the first time today, I had a dingus do something.
Must be the barometric pressure.
It must be, and I was like, and I hate when golly, Bob, I'm all off in it.
Don't go there.
If you ever listen to quote unquote Christian radio, which remember Christian TV, I used to call it big hair or gold chairs and big hair, and people got offended, but it was true.
Tammy Faye.
It was so true. Big hair,
all of them.
big hair and gold chairs.
Yeah.
And they'll just say these things that you're like, that is not real. You're not a real person. But I thought, I don't know what they're going through. And that's one of the things they always say is, you don't know what someone else is going through. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make them drive like an idiot.
Well,
but it might. So I said to myself, he might be late. And yes, he went around me to stop at the same red light I'm at. Yeah. And I want to wave like, hello.
Hurry.
Hello.
Get to that red light.
Did that get you? I think it gained you 27 feet. Hello, Mr.
Maybe.
Driver person. But I didn't. And I was like, whatever it is he's dealing with, I hope it's
There you
okay.
go.
That's the first time
Spirit.
ever.
I drive
Way to
so
go.
much, or used to. I don't drive as much as I used to, all across the state.
Right.
You cannot have pent-up frustration and drive like I did. So my attitude when I get in the car is, "Phew, nobody's talking to me."
Really?
And so I just drive.
And then
they
you
wanna
just
run
call
up-
me.
Yeah. Well, I do call. I'm sorry. I do call you, but we have
Because we can't handle quiet.
no. Well, I can.
We think we want it.
No, I do want it.
Do you talk to yourself?
No, I don't talk to myself.
Do you talk out loud when you're driving?
Nope.
Do your thoughts not come out through your mouth?
Nope. I put on the Beach Boys.
Really?
I put on Roy Orbison. I zone out.
Someone asked me if I talk to myself, and I said, no.
No.
But I do speak what goes through my mind while I'm driving. I'm not telling myself. I'm not driving and saying, Scott,
You shouldn't be
blah, blah,
doing
blah.
that.
I'm just, I say the things I told you a minute ago. What is wrong with you? I'm talking to other people, other cars, doing the show.
You sound like my daughter. Every afternoon when my daughter calls me, I'm on my way home, blah, 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 blah. The entire conversation is half of screaming at other drivers.
Yes.
But she's driving down 280
I
and
couldn't.
459.
I couldn't.
So I could understand that. But no, I'm generally just a real, not saying I'm going the speed limit, but I'm just a real.
Really?
But this morning, it was like I said, there was a sign, and I was
Just pull out in front of me. It's because you got your car washed.
That's what it was.
And they were like, that lady's got a nice, clean car. She's
gonna-
not going to risk it. Pull out in front of her.
That's exactly what it was, because I don't usually wash. I had a coupon
Of course.
for the new
Whatever you-
car wash across the street from Vulcan, and I got to tell you, my car.
It did a great job.
Ooh, it is brand new.
Do you ever wonder if these places, Sky will know this answer. Do the car wash places send you a coupon?
Yeah, yes, they do.
So that
and they run specials.
And I think the machine knows it's when a coupon
Yeah,
because
they
it
had to put
gives
in a
you like the
code.
ultra, the
Yeah.
ultra super wash. There's little gremlins that run out, illegal aliens that you don't see. They're out spit shine. I mean, they're doing everything. And you go back a week later without the coupon, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not the same car wash I got before.
Well, I don't know. I'll be going. It's a long way out of my way. In
But
fact,
you'll be
when-
going back.
I'll be going.
So the
back
coupon
just to
worked?
check it out to see.
Did you
if-
get a subscription in? I understand
did
now. You can
not.
get it washed every day of the month. if you
I don't
buy
have
a
time to do that.
See, I'm opposed to that. I believe in the protective, layer of dirt.
Well, mine has had a
Especially in the
protective.
South in pollen season.
Yes, it keeps the UV rays off of the paint.
Mine has had the protective film of dirt on it for about 5 or 6 months now.
That's the
'cause
spirit.
That's just
Well, it's wintertime.
it's when
You don't
yeah,
need a clean
it
car. In the winter
rains.
times, rainy, cold,
all that
nasty.
yellow pollen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You only have to wash your car in Alabama from late May to
Yep. Till September.
September, October. Yeah, then the
yeah.
leaves start falling.
right.
And it's just nasty. Yeah.
I'm helping the environment. I don't want
You're cleaning up the
Hey,
environment.
I'm going to tell you, if we get any more data centers coming in here, there's not going to be any water for the
Exactly.
car washes.
What? Speaking of data centers, I thought we were worried about the climate.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to be having green
no,
energy and solar panels?
No, you don't understand.
Is
the
that
end game.
gone? We fixed the climate?
The end game, the climate thing was to make us understand scarcity.
Okay.
The next step is to force scarcity so the elites can have all their stuff, their data centers, their AI. And so we now have a mindset of, we have to protect our climate by using less.
Okay, so
So they can have it.
we've agreed in our minds
Yes.
that we need less because we are serfs,
Yes.
and then they can
have
what
what-
they want. Okay,
Exactly.
good. All right. I just want to make sure I'm up to speed. I don't want to be
Yeah.
behind.
No.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. We appreciate you listening to the show. And Eubank is with me. You can check us out over at YouTube. Like I said, go to Scott Beason. And we appreciate all of you listening. And thank you so much for telling people about the program, telling people that you listen. And that is how we grow. It is a different show from everywhere else. I understand that. But let's talk a little bit about yesterday. We talked a lot about the redistricting in the state of Alabama, the Supreme Court, their ruling, the ripple effects it's having. Mississippi's already looking at changing what they're doing, and it was a big deal for what happened. And we gave Steve Marshall a lot of credit for fighting the fight. And then people were wondering, how is that United States Senate race going? Because you got the 2 or 3 front runners.
Yeah.
Barry Moore, Steve Marshall, and Jared Hudson.
Right.
And people are just now focusing on it. There's just it's just amazing how much airtime is being spent by those 3 campaigns. People are trying to find out or figure out who they want to be for. I know that there's some movement going on out of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
The powers that be take U.S. Senate races more seriously than the people in the states that are voting on those U.S. Senate races, I would argue.
You would be correct.
Mm-hmm. That Washington cares more about getting their person.
Right.
Or whoever they think would be the best of the field for what Washington, D.C. wants or likes. They care about it a lot. And we don't seem to pay attention, but Washington absolutely pays attention.
Yes.
Washington paid attention tremendously in the campaign between Mo Brooks, Katie Britt, and what was the man's name? Durant?
Yeah.
Durant.
And Durant, he dropped out because he couldn't take the heat.
Well, he finished.
Yeah,
he finished the campaign, but he dropped off on the end.
Right.
And I've always said, because he did not understand, it's not a knock on him. It's not. He's a smart guy, successful guy, the good guy, the whole 9 yards. But
great patriot.
He thought that groups out of Washington saw him out there as a candidate and said, you know what? He'll be great for America. Let's go help him to an extent because he's going to be awesome. And the reason I think and this is me putting thoughts in his head. I don't know. He'll have to say it. But what I try to tell people is that Washington, D.C. didn't look out there. They don't see it the same way you and I do, the way Alabamians see it. We look at the different candidates and we're like, hey, I think Mike could do good. I'm going to support Mike because I think Mike will do well. We don't ever think things like, you know what? If I support Mike, that'll help somebody beat Mo Brooks because I don't like Mo Brooks. So I'll go help Mike and undermine Mo Brooks because normal citizens don't do that. Normal citizens look at a campaign and they say, that's who I like. I'm for Ann. I'm going to support Ann, and I'm going to do everything I can to help Ann. And if somebody else likes somebody else, great. God bless them. Y'all go do your thing. I'll go do our thing. Washington, D.C. looks out on the playing field and says, how do I move pieces so that the person I really want to win or the person I really want to lose is affected by me moving other pieces on the board? And unfortunately, some of those pieces on the board be they knights or pawns, think that Washington is helping them by patting them on the head and saying, we love you, you're awesome, when they're really just grabbing the top of the piece and moving it on the board to help their desired goal. And that's what I think happened to Durant, is that he thought Washington was helping him because they wanted him to win, and I don't think that was ever the case. I didn't think that when it started.
No, it was never the case. It was always to beat Mo Brooks.
Right.
And that is a great analogy, moving the pieces around the board.
Mm-hmm.
So in this race, you have Barry Moore, who is a congressman, Freedom Caucus member,
Right.
100% Heritage Conservative score.
Right.
And to we, the conservatives, that's our guy.
Yeah, that's the proven record.
Yep.
That's because it's difficult to find people who, once they're actually in the office, continue to do the conservative things that their campaign pieces say that they will do.
Exactly.
And we've also got to remember that when a congressman, I don't care how many pieces of legislation a congressman made.
No.
They're really not. Conservatives aren't in the position to, quote unquote, pass legislation.
Right.
And you only pass something in Washington, D.C. if they have reached down and you are a piece that helps them further in the game. And then they're like, hey, look how many pieces of legislation our pawn has passed. Wow, he really is effective. Really help him. He's awesome. Somebody in the Freedom Caucus, they're like,
we're not going to allow them to
we're not
pass.
getting no success story. But fighting the fight, voting right, saying the right things when there is crunch time, I would argue that he's had the best record in Alabama since, well, he probably was on an even par, since Mo Brooks.
Right.
Which means not the most popular in Washington, D.C.
No. He's pretty, but
Yeah.
no, you're right.
Because I was worried when he decided not to run for Congress again, run for the U.S. Senate, that he would be hung out to dry. That Washington would say, hey, yeah, we're for you. And then when the qualifying was over, cut off the funding.
Well, just kind of like they did Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just let you burn out there, fly in the wind.
Let you flounder. So, yeah, the conservatives obviously are behind any congressperson that has done what Barry Moore has done and part of the Freedom Caucus. Then you have the AG, Steve Marshall, who is very much loved in North Alabama. He's got a big backing in North Alabama.
And he's done a good job as
done
the
a
Attorney General.
Great job.
Because he didn't have to stick his neck out on all the conservative issues, and he's fought the fight, and I think he's genuinely one of those guys that there came a point in time where he's like, we got to save the country.
Right. So that's the problem. He's been in D.C. a lot.
Okay.
Fighting the fight.
Okay.
And the establishment doesn't like the fight he's fighting.
Right.
They have decided he
may not be controllable enough.
Right.
Okay. So now we got two guys that the Washington establishment are like, might be a little too strongly independent.
Right.
Might have the nerve to tell us no.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We're going to keep evaluating this. Sky, I guess we'll be right back.
That's right.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. I appreciate you listening, and let's get out to your phone calls real quick. And Eubank is with me. Kyle, welcome to the program. I hope you're well.
Hey there, thank you. I hope you guys are well as well. I just had an answer for the question you asked. Why did the Washington, D.C. Klan was more interested in who got in than the actual constituents?
Yes, sir.
And the reasoning behind that is that the Washington, D.C. Klan, that's their job. That's what they do. Their life. They're politic people.
Yeah.
They eat, drink, and sleep politics. And so they're going to take care of the people in their bubble. And unfortunately, the bubble does not include the constituents.
Let me add one little thing to you there, Kyle. Add on to agree with you and add to it. They also understand power, and they understand the width and depth of what one more U.S. senator can mean to the future of the country. So they are ensuring the future that they would like to see, while we're going, golly geez, I don't have enough time to keep up. Everybody's ads look good, and he or she's cute. I'm voting for him or her.
Right, and in the grand scheme of things, the constituents, politics, while it's important to them and influences every part of their life, they don't make that connection because they're busy living their life. They're busy pursuing the American dream. They don't make that connection. If I vote for Joe Schmuck the Ragman, this is not going to happen for me. They don't make that connection because they're not in politics isn't ingrained in their everyday lives.
No, you're absolutely right, Kyle. I can't disagree with you. That's why we vote based on advertisements and commercials, and everybody's saying basically the same thing, and we're like, well, heck, that's awesome. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, and I'm not trying to bash anybody. I hope she's the most successful, conservative, hopefully, United States senator in the history of Alabama or the country. But the fact that if you took Katie Britt's stated positions and put them in a list, and you took Tommy Tuberville's stated positions and you put them in a list, you could defy anybody in the state of Alabama to tell you the difference in quote unquote what they believe. But one of those senators is bashed all the time for being, racist, redneck. I always say Darth Vader. He's awful. He's terrible. Can't believe it. It's just disgusting, is what they say. And then you take the other one, who you can't tell the difference in their stated beliefs, and it's like all Washington, D.C. loves them. They're awesome. Future leader of the world. Can't believe how remarkable they are. And so you have to ask, how is it possible that two people who supposedly believe and are fighting for the same things, one of them is considered evil and the other one's considered a great and shining light for the future? We normal people got to ask ourselves, how is that possible? Or why is that possible? Ann's busting at the seams. Hold on, Kyle.
Well, I can tell you the answer to that question. Tommy Tuberville has a 98% conservative voting record. Mm-hmm. Katie Britt has a 65, the lowest of any of our people in Washington, D.C.
Really?
So what she says ain't what she does.
Oh. Kyle, I'll give you the last word.
I think Ann hit it right on the head, and you hit it right on the head too when you just said that they understand the Washington bubble understands that power thing.
Yeah.
And then the constituents they may understand it, but they don't make the connection.
Yeah.
As to how that is going to affect their lives.
Yeah, and you're right. We don't have enough time. Kyle, I appreciate you, buddy. Great call, man.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. And it really is that way.
That is.
Because I think of some of the races that I don't keep up with. People are like, oh, you must keep up with all of them. No. Like judicial races, for the love
I don't even. I don't do judicial.
But we should, because those guys are. I mean, they cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
The judges, now federal judges, we can't do anything about.
No.
But you know, it's funny in Alabama they have that whole canon. They call it the canon. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the canon of judicial ethics. That's what we go by. Yeah, I know you're running for judge, Joe. What do you think about this?
Oh, I shall not. I cannot weigh in that because there could be a chance that we would have something like that come before the court.
And you're like, yeah, but I just want to know what you believe.
Well, that's the whole point. I don't want you to know what I believe because you should be for me. I'm a judge. I should be a judge.
I mean, that's kind of what we get, is it not?
Yeah. Well, even my good friend, I'm not going to mention his name, who is a judge, and I went to him one day and said, okay, if we take Common Core to court,
Okay.
what happens? Because they keep saying we don't have standing. Parents don't have standing of what their kids are taught. He said, Ann, I can't discuss that with you because there's a good chance that's going to happen. And the court I'm in, it may very well come before me.
Right.
So you're right. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, and I get the purely philosophical argument of you shouldn't show your bias
Right.
ahead of time.
But he homeschools his kids.
Hey, look, these people at the top aren't dumb.
No.
It's like all the, all the big teachers union leaders send all their kids to private schools.
That's
and
right.
And you're like, really? Really?
That is true.
I have to do this, but you don't have to do that.
That's why they fought the Choice Act. That's why they fought any way of normal students to get out of a failing school is because they don't want what they're doing polluted.
Right. By the Rams, the Raggedy A multitudes out there.
Exactly.
Oh, the normal people.
Exactly. So anyway.
Do you think people are shocked when we say, because you and I know that the elites really believe that the rest of us are lower than.
Riffraff is, I believe, the term we're looking for.
That's why that's where I got Rams. I haven't told the Ram story in a long time.
Yeah, you haven't, but we know
I
it.
need to tell them.
We know that's our name.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we are. That's what they call us?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I was at the dinner when I was first elected to the legislature, where because the show was going before there was ever a show, and as I'm talking and all this kind of stuff, and this guy says, "Hey, we really don't." I'm not worried about what the Rams think, and I'm like, the Rams. Everybody's saying the Rams, and I'm like,
Los Angeles football team.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rams, and finally somebody has to explain to me, Scott. It stands for the Raggedy ASS multitudes. The raggedy, the dirty, lowly, common people. And I'm like, what the heck?
That's
no,
kind of
it's
insulting.
I'd be
true.
one of those.
It is true.
So that's a
people.
common phrase.
Yes.
Wow.
And when you mention it, they kind of get this smirky look on their face. And
I'm not going to forget this.
That's when you just want to hit one of them.
Yeah, and it sometimes it grows on them over time, but there's definitely like I would get in trouble for being, quote, a populist. I'm like, how is being for what the people want and need, how is that a negative?
Yeah, it's a dirty word.
It matches the philosophy we're supposed to have, that we say we have, and the people want us to be that, but it's still bad because it's the icky people. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
To Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Scott Beason, President.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. Thank you for listening. And Eubank is with me on the program, Big Sky Mountain Mosley as well. Let's get out a couple of your phone calls before we wrap up the quick analysis of what's going on in the legislative races, not legislative, the U.S. Senate race here in the state of Alabama. Let's go to Red Top. Red Top, welcome to the program. Thank you for listening.
What a beautiful morning right here in Monkey Town. I'll tell you that right now. A quick question for you, Ann. Are there any legislative initiatives or any bills being proposed now that's going to be on this May 19th ballot, or does that wait till the fall?
Yes, there are 2 amendments. Now, you know my attitude toward amendments are no. I don't care. We've got 10,000 pages in the Alabama Constitution. Why are we adding 2 amendments that make no sense? And I'll read them to you. Proposing an amendment to the Constitution of Alabama 2022 to provide that the following offenses shall be offenses for which a judge may deny bail. Now, there's a whole list of them. I'm sorry. Don't judges already have that ability? So my opinion is that's a Fourth Amendment problem. Vote no. The next one is proposing an amendment to the Constitution to provide that the compensation of a district attorney may not be diminished during his or her term of office. Why are we putting that in the Constitution? That's a no.
Ain't that the truth?
So those are the only 2.
Okay. That's the only thing I will be going to vote for then, because I'm not a Republican, and I shouldn't be I'm not going to be voting for anybody.
Okay.
But these amendments or initiatives are very important, and people ignore them. So I'm going to the polls just for those 2 things, and I'm going to vote no too. Because
we agree.
You and Ann agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
They have got redundancy on top of redundancy.
Yeah.
Probably 60 of those amendments are worthless redundancies.
I agree.
So
that's
waste
scary,
of money
Red Top.
and time.
That's scary, Red Top, when we agree.
Hey, no, man. That means you're going in the right direction.
I'm going
Now,
in the direction of the Constitution.
I'm glad for you.
Yeah.
Y'all got to catch the selfie, this opportunity Mars rover took. It's spinning its head around. It's doing all kinds of acrobatics. It's really good. Because, we had 2 rovers. The other one got stuck in the sand a few years ago. But how many years that guy been crawling up there? 10 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I didn't even know he was still there.
Man,
yeah,
this selfie looks just like I've seen this background in remote Greenland.
Now, if you've seen it anywhere, it's Arizona. I've been to Arizona. I lived there, went to Sedona.
You're very good. Very good, very good.
It's red as all the terrain is as red as Mars, and Arizona looks like the surface of Mars. That's one reason why I wouldn't want to live there. Although it's much cooler on Mars than it is in Arizona, which is they call it. It's got in the midst of a heat wave. Well, it is a heat wave. Y'all check out the education deficit that they report that they made today to find out. Starting in 2013 is when all the scores went down.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
It was mostly because all these testing standards that they had put up before Obama in his second term, they just pretty much ignored all of them and introduced Common Core.
That's right.
So that's another great gift the Antichrist Barack Obama gave us. Y'all enjoy this beautiful day. I'm going up on a ladder. I spent all day 20 feet up yesterday. My calves are like oak trees. They're so damn hard.
Well, look, Red Top, I'm never surprised when you're high during the day.
That's a very good way to put it. Good one.
We appreciate you, buddy. Take care, Red Top.
Double whammy today. See you guys. Roll Tide, go Trump.
Roll Tide, go Trump. He said he's 20 feet up.
I heard. I was kind of.
He meant painting or working on something. Doggone it. I was always jumping to conclusions. Let's go to James. James, welcome to the program.
Now, Scott, I don't normally go after your callers, but maybe he landed on his head.
He didn't say he fell off a ladder. He said he was up on a ladder. Falling off a ladder is Eric the Duck.
I'm going to try to make my point here. But first, okay, there is a point. Remind me that there is a point. And I'm falling off of Red Top. Okay? All right. Arizona. There's some nice, beautiful stands of aspen out there. From, the Grand Canyon. I forget the highway, but from the Grand Canyon to I-40, beautiful stands of aspen. So it's not all, as John Wayne might say, burnt over desert.
No,
right?
It's not.
Or red rocks. And no more than Alabama is all Gulf Coast, or the mountains there around the DeSoto Falls, just out from Mentone, etc. You're following me?
I'm following you.
Makes me want to get in the car and go somewhere.
It does. But there's a
the
point
highest
coming.
peak in Arizona, Scott.
Okay.
Do you have any idea? Without looking it up, the highest peak in Arizona. Come on now.
Spanish Peaks? No, that's not
No,
Arizona.
Mount Humphreys.
Mount Humphreys.
I think I'm correct.
What's the one in
You
New
can Google
Mexico?
it now.
Mount Wheeler, I think. I knew one of the two. You had to ask the other. Okay.
Mount Humphreys is the highest peak in Arizona. See if I'm right, Scott.
All right, let me check. You just keep talking. You got a point to be made before the break.
All right, now, here's the point. Oh, okay. It wasn't Barack Obama's standards that we were hiding from and went to Common Core. It was W standards, because he was the one that introduced No Child Left Behind. And by 2014, even though he was not in office any longer, but by 2014, we had to meet the so-called No Child Left Behind standards, which every school, everywhere, was going to be 100% on all of their boxes, which is completely impossible. Are you ever 100%, Scott?
No, but I'm closer than the average human.
But this is why superintendents and principals welcomed Common Core.
It was the money.
Yeah, it did lower the standards. It made it more. They thought it was going to be more attainable.
But Scott, it was because No Child Left Behind, those policies were impossible to match up with. Now, if you go snow skiing anywhere and you talk to somebody from a different portion of the country and you ask them, well, what grade are you in? Oh, I'm in the 7th. Well, what science are you taking? Well, I'm not sure. And they start saying, oh, well, that's an earth science, which falls under physical sciences, which here in Alabama, we teach life science on the 7th grade. So Common Core is a fallacy at best.
You got it. We got to take a break, man. James, we got to take a break. We got a guest coming up. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Let's get out to our phone calls real quick, and then we've got a special guest. Nate Carlson will be on in just a second. Rooster wanted to finish up on questions about the amendments, which Ann was answering a minute ago. Rooster, welcome to the program. Happy Wednesday to you.
Well, thank you, Scott. I know you got something going on there, and I'm going to be fast.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to commend Red Top for voting no on the amendments.
Yes.
And Ann as well. Now, Ann has a document I sent her, and she needs to give you a copy of it, Scott. I mentioned this last time. But anyway, I want to know, when did we have an election to give them bastards permission to make amendments?
Well, that's what we talked about yesterday, and Ann just gave me the thumbs up that she's got what you wanted her to give me, Rooster, so I will get up to speed as quick as possible.
Well, we need to have them damn people arrested because they're breaking the law.
Well, I'm going to look into it for you, okay?
And they know it, too. There's a problem right there.
Well, I was there. You pointed it out yesterday, and I would never have known it. So that's why I'm going to look into it for you. So I appreciate you, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right,
man. All right. Have a good one. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's go out to our special guest. Do you want to introduce him, Ann?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, go right ahead.
Rooster set me off on a different path.
I know. I can see your wheels were spinning. I'm like, we can't do it. Your guest is on.
Okay. Nate, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. How are y'all?
Okay, good. Yeah, we're. It's a normal Wednesday. That's all I can say.
Sure.
So
I get it.
Yeah. For our people out there who vote in my district, which is Senate District 16, Nate Carlson is running against my favorite, and y'all know that's not true, Jabba Wagner. And I'm going to bring him on, and we're going to talk about what he is going to do for us when he wins. So, welcome to the show, Nate. It's good to have you.
Absolutely.
So,
thank you so much for having me on. And I was going to say, for the listeners that may not know, Senate District 16 obviously is largely comprised of Jefferson County and a little bit of Shelby. So I am Homewood on the northern end, coming kind of down south through Vestavia, Hoover, and 119. The northern Shelby County is kind of the southern bound of that.
Yeah. And Nate, I wanted to point out, because there'll be a lot of people listening from all over the state and other places as well, and they're like, well, why would y'all use the program to talk to someone who's in one Senate district in the state of Alabama? And one of the reasons is that I want you to tell us a little bit about how it is to decide to and running against a person who may be the longest serving member of the Alabama legislature at this point in time, and serving that long, basically a lifetime, probably almost as long as I've been alive, and I'm not a spring chicken, is not an accidental thing. And so I would imagine that you've had a different experience than some people have, because you're running against someone who everyone knows and everyone has lived their whole life with that person representing them.
That is correct. It has definitely not been the way for me to make the fastest friends and be the most popular person, I would say, with the Montgomery establishment overall, is entering into a primary against the longest serving legislator in Alabama state history. I think he first came into office in the Alabama State House in maybe 1966, and he's been in the state Senate seat that he currently holds for District 16 since 1990. And so when I entered into this race, certainly less so was a commentary on him, and more so it was a focus on my end of believing that, one, I think whether it's in business, whether it's in our primaries as a party, like, competition is fundamentally a good thing. And I wanted to enter into the conversation with our party because I felt like we needed a different voice. When you think about Birmingham specifically, it is the economic engine of the state. And that's not to take anything away from the development that's happening in Mobile or happening in Huntsville. But at the end of the day, Birmingham is still the economic engine. And as a small business owner and an operator at my core, I can see that, like, for us to have the best version of Alabama in our future, we have to have a strong Birmingham economically, and we need to continue to build on the things and the momentums that we have to make sure that we are the best version of ourselves 25 and 30 years from now, right? And so that was really why. A lot of it is grounded in the fact that for my kids, I want them to feel like, I feel like for generations in Alabama, people have probably, felt like they've got to make this trade-off between, should I stay in Alabama and maybe give up on X, Y, and Z, or go elsewhere and have these opportunities. And I fundamentally believe we can change that narrative. We can change the way the next generation of people think about our state, because I'm so bullish on our state overall and on our district. And so for me, that's a lot of what grounded why I wanted to get into it now.
So Nate, let me make this disclaimer. I live in your district that you're running, and Jabba Wagner is my senator. It is my opinion, and not the opinion of the host or the station or the program or the management, but I think we need a new one, because he's the Joe Biden of Alabama. and he's the head of the rules committee and controls what goes to the floor. We need some new blood. So that is my disclaimer. But I wanted to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're from Homewood. So did you come from Florida? Like the elephant in the room is talking, all these commercials saying that you spent money in Florida to defeat DeSantis and gave PAC money in Florida. So where did this Florida thing come from if you're not from Florida?
Well, I appreciate you going there and addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, I am from Birmingham, grew up here actually in Irondale, and my wife and I have 3 kids we're raising in Homewood right now. They're in the Homewood school system. We've got 2 in the middle school, 1 in the elementary school. But, I mean, I graduated from a local high school in the Birmingham metro, went to school at the Air Force Academy. I was there for 2 years, and then I finished up and played football at the University of Alabama. And so I was a part of 2 national championship teams when I was there. I'm pretty all in on Alabama overall. I mean, I will tell you, like, one of the most fun experiences was in 2009 when we effectively, at the SEC championship game to tie back to Florida, ended Tim Tebow's run in his college career when we beat them in Atlanta for us to have, to go play in the national championship against Texas. So I've never lived in Florida. It's a great state to go visit. But I mean, these things that are coming out and, coming from a super PAC that's like involved with gambling, they're completely and totally made up. I mean, I don't know where they're getting this from. I mean, it's a version of narrative laundering that you see all throughout, right, the world. I mean, this is the type of thing that our foreign adversaries will do when they're trying to push narratives that they get them out there in hopes that it'll get populated enough to become the mainstream, like what is accepted as fact, when that's not. And so it's really, it should scare people, quite honestly, that and I think people should really kind of be scratching their heads going, wait a second, why is a guy that's a small business owner that's running, he's a first-time candidate, he's a dad, he's just trying to be over here and run because this is what he believes is right. He's got enough money in his campaign bank account for about 6 tanks of gas right now and 4 cups of coffee, is all of a sudden, getting attacked on TV by some, like, shadow sports betting, gambling, super PAC, and funneling cash into the state.
We got to carry you over, Nate, and we want to explore this on the other side. That was the second aspect of your campaign that I think has statewide implications, because what's happening to you is happening to other candidates across the state, arguably on the conservative end of the spectrum. So we're going to deal with that on the other side. We got to take a real quick break. Nate Carlson is our guest, and we will be right back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason, and Eubank is with me, and Nate Carlson is our guest. Fascinating story. People were asking, why would you talk to a state Senate candidate? And he's got a couple of things that I think are interesting for sure, which is one is running against one of the most powerful members of the Alabama Senate as Rules Chairman and the longest serving. I thought he was the longest serving member of the legislature. He started serving in the legislature before I was born.
The year I graduated high school.
It's
Wait a minute.
well, that's not that long ago, Ann. It sounds longer when you say before I was born. Did you graduate high school before I was born?
66.
Wow. Well, never mind.
Never
mind.
I told you are the same age as my second child.
Wow. So, Nate, I appreciate you being on. And the other one is this Ann's brought it up a couple of times, different races across the state. These dark money groups that seem to be gambling, pro-gambling. And people can be for gambling. Okay, whatever, that's fine. But they are doing things across the state, just saying things that aren't true. And Nate, when I ran for office years ago, one of the things that was put out, I can't remember if it was one of the times I ran for the House or the Senate, was that Scott Beason had been charged or found guilty of, I think it was domestic violence. And I was like, what the heck are these people doing? So we did a little research and found out, yes, indeed, a guy with my name had been charged with that somewhere, and they were doing their best to link it to me and then pretend like, golly geez, we didn't know, we just looked up. But I think they've moved on. In your case, things have changed in the last 20-something years, and now they don't even worry about finding a person named Nate Carlson. They'll just make it up and put it on television.
I think, unfortunately, that is more and more the case, and I don't know. I can't speak to it, but you're looking at things that sports betting. These are algorithm-based, largely algorithm-based entities, right? As far as how they set their lines and things, it's not a stretch to think, well, they've got some of those algorithms that are scanning for candidates that are coming out strong against lottery or whatever their interests are, gambling, and therefore they then take it and build some narrative around it,
right?
And hope that it gets passed. It's an unfortunate truth, I think, of modern politics.
So, what kind of things are they're running against you that just are not true?
Well, I mean, for one, you alluded to it, but the deal about spending money against a Democratic opponents in Florida, via the Stop Ron DeSantis PAC, or
right.
I can't even remember, something in Orlando, some race. I mean, I'll be honest, like as a restaurant operator coming out of COVID, it's the tight margins. If anybody knows anything about that industry, you would know that's like, nobody's got a bunch of free cash flow that they're just going to deploy, especially for a state that you don't even live in.
So you're saying not only did I do that, my business doesn't have enough money to do that if I wanted to do it at the time.
I mean, are you kidding me? Like, my wife would absolutely, I would no longer be married if that was the case. I can assuredly tell you.
See, that's the real deal.
That's the real deal. So, Nate, tell me, when you go to Montgomery, what are going to be your big issues? What have the people of Homewood tasked you to do when you get there, or Vestavia, or
sure.
I live in Bluff Park. I know what I want. So what are your ideas? How are you going to change this dynamic where we, the people, are faced with?
Well, I mean, so off the top, I mean, I think gambling, you can watch the amount of money that's coming in. It's not just my race. It's all throughout other races. Like, if you don't think for a second that there is going to be another push to pass whatever version of a clean lottery bill, that's not a real thing. That's not the way the federal laws work as far as Class 3, not to get way deep in the weeds, but like you can't just pass the clean lottery bill. Like it's once you open that Pandora's box, there's no putting it back in. You cannot close it. So, that's something that I'm going to be against. I don't think that we build the best version of our state truly by asking like the government to depend on people losing money. That is so like antithetical to me to what a conservative value would be. So that's going to be a big one. I mean, the other things for me is just it's central to being like transparency and accountability, right? And those are words that I think a lot of people throw out. But for me as an operator and a small business owner, I think about so often the conversation tends to revolve around top line revenues. So in government, that's going to be tax, right? Okay, how much you can raise taxes and all those things. I look at it and go, well, how are we managing our costs? And if you frame that through like a profit and loss statement in a business, how do we go line by line and make sure that every single dollar we're asking a taxpayer to pay, we have it accounted for, and we're being a steward of every single one of those dollars, because that's ultimately how we restore trust back in what's happening in Montgomery. And and the other piece of that is we need to be sharing that information and being forthright with it. I mean, I think unfortunately with the way the media landscape has changed over the last 20 or 30 years, the amount of coverage in Montgomery has really gone to the wayside. And so it's kind of this black box of information, which I don't think is healthy. I think we need people that are informed, and the public needs to know. They need to understand that they can be involved. I mean, for me, selfishly, I'd like to see more people that are my age involved and feeling like they can participate. And so, like, that's something I hope that I can raise the awareness of and the profile and, like, make it feel like it is something that other people can do and should be doing, because, we need more voices coming in to me to bring in and get the real perspective of how, the conservative values that we stand for, I think, broadly in this state, to make sure that we are holding those and locking those in for the next generation. We have to have different and more voices in the room than what we have right now.
So Nate, how do people find you? Do you have a website? Where can they get signs if they want one? Okay, tell us.
Yes, CarlsonForAlabama.com. Go to our website. You can learn more information about myself, my family, what we stand for. You can request signs on there. All of our social media is Carlson for Alabama, either FORAL or Carlson for Alabama. So you will find us on social, Facebook, Instagram. Go to our website. Please, as we kind of enter the last days of this, we're making a push here, and any and every support. Like people, I would just encourage folks that are listening in your spheres of influence, please share the information you have. Don't hold it in, right? Because it is so helpful for you to, even if it's one or two other people, you never know how that can affect races like this. And
Nate,
so,
Nate, we appreciate you being on, man. We got to take a break, and good luck to you.
No worries.
Fascinating.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely, fascinating race. A lot of things going on in your race that are going on across the state. So we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Program, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Scott Beason here, and Eubank with me as well. I did think that Nate's race is interesting. And I guess I should have cleared it up, but I wanted him to have some time to speak. But for regular people, us, the Rams, to look out and go, I mean, regardless of what Nate believes, I mean, he seems like a good guy. But you're out there, somebody decides to run for office, they put themselves out there to do so, and then, your wife comes in or your buddy calls and says, hey, have you seen this ad on television against you? And you're like, wait a minute, there's a television ad against me? I'm just trying to run. And it's stuff that's not true.
Right.
I think Alabamians deserve to know that is going on.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's like 5 or 6 races have been targeted by the DraftKings and gambling syndicates because they don't want these people to win because they're not a gambling vote.
Right.
And, you know, I talked last week about the 7 full-page, double-sided, 4-color mail-outs that I'm getting from about
From
Jabbo
these entities,
Wagner,
right?
Specifically Jabbo Wagner, from the American Conservative Fund. Well, you know, originally when I got the first one, I'm thinking, who in the heck is it? Because, you know, I know PACs and I know these people. And I'm like, I don't know who this is. So I went and looked it up, and it took me to Win America, WIN,
Right.
which was DK DraftKings.
Yeah.
But they're calling themselves American Conservative Fund.
Yeah, I was telling somebody yesterday. They had called me and asked about some of the races, and I can say his name. Y'all won't know who it is because I won't say the last name. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, some of these PACs are literally things like, you know, we want the best for. Well, I'll replace it with you. We want the best for Scott and Ann PAC, and you're like, I gotta believe in them. They're awesome. You know, prosperity for Scott and Ann PAC, and you're like, well, they must be for me. Right. No, they're not. You can call yourself anything you want, and these groups go out, you know, conservatives for Alabama, and that may be one. I don't know. Solid conservatives, real conservatives, you know, Christian this. Well, you know, and people who don't listen to this program, okay, and maybe they listen to others, would say to themselves, well, no one would have a PAC called Jesus for Good Candidates PAC. No one would do that and then just lie. I mean, I can hear family members saying that. I'm like, oh, no, absolutely they would lie because they know that name of that. That's why the liberal groups have the names of entities that they have is so well, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, nice.
You know, the Scott Loves Everybody PAC. Yeah. And people are like, well, they would never do that. But they do. I mean, one of my good friends is running in South Alabama for a state Senate race. We've talked about it before. And he called me the other day. He said, you won't believe what these cats are spending money on. It's the same group, by the way. And this guy running is one of the nicest, best, all-American people there is.
He's Mr. All-America.
He absolutely is.
It.
And they're just – now, some of the things aren't – like they have him voting for raising taxes. And it was somebody else's local bill some years ago that, you know.
Y'all vote for local bills because it's not going to impact your people.
Right. And people just get on me, why do you abstain all the time? Because I don't know what y'all are doing in y'all's county.
That's right.
But still, he was not raising taxes on his people.
That's right.
It's a local bill in another county somewhere else that he usually doesn't vote on. But, man, they've done the research. They did the opposition research, and they're running out saying stuff. And I always say half-truths count as whole lies, and people look at you like, I don't know if I agree with that. Well, yes, you do. When your kids tell you a half-truth to make you think something is not true, you know, they get in trouble. But when these PACs come out and tell half-truths, we're like, oh, well, that's just the way it is, and it shouldn't be.
And we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars from these gambling entities and from these outside dark. You know, I used to laugh when they call it dark money.
And now you're like, no, it's this dark money.
No, yeah, it's dark money. I remember Chris Pringle when they were trying to pass the law to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, let's just be obvious. We're trying to pass this law so that they can't beat us with money we don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
And that was an incumbent saying that. So, yeah, I think we need, and it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We need to control money coming into election season.
Yeah. And I don't know what all the arguments are, but I got to think that we've got to be a little more Wild West than some of the states.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like we're getting abused by people who can hide.
Yeah. We've made corporations people and given them unlimited.
Yeah, the Supreme Court did that.
Yes.
Right.
We, the people, me and you, we're limited to how much you can give. but you're not limited how much you can.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, corporations can give.
So corporations don't have that 2,500
No.
or whatever it is,
No, ma'am.
2,600.
No, ma'am.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
And see, that's not fair. That's part of the corporatocracy. That's part of how the elites
Right.
are continuing to control us.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
no
they used
longer
to.
have a
The
voice.
corporations used to have to go through the difficult, well, not super difficult process of having a executive meeting of corporate officers and middle to upper level management, and then they would have to go have this meeting, and they would say, Sky, hey, we here at the corporation, we support Ann, and we would appreciate it. We're not telling you have to, but we would smile upon you supporting Ann as well. So now your boss is saying, hey, I hope you'll support who I support. And that's a lot of pressure, especially if you ever want a promotion, right?
Right.
At least they used to have to do that. Now they're just like, hey, we can spend whatever we want. We just
And everybody in the office is supposed to put in $250 in an envelope, and this is, who we're going to give it to.
Right.
And if you don't do it, what happens to you?
You were outside the herd.
But now corporations have line items in their budgets
For politics.
For politics.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. So, but
you want to go ahead and take that break so we'll have some time on the other side?
Well, I just want to comment on the DraftKings.
Okay, do it.
Money. Remember, they are currently illegal, and all the gambling entities are not allowed in the state of Alabama.
Gee.
And they have.
Which is why everybody I know can't use them.
They are going to pour money into the
I know,
state.
but what I don't understand is no one is using, no one's betting on whether or not Joe catches the third pass in the first quarter of the game.
Prediction markets are legal. They somehow skirt the issue.
Right.
But the big money is I can only think of DraftKings, but there's several others. You know who they are. And they want to come into Alabama, and they're going to spend a ton of money.
So how do they know? How do they keep me from doing it, though? Because are people – no, let me straight up ask. Are you telling me that people aren't using – what is it? DraftKings, and what's the other fan one? FanDuel.
SB&E.
They're not using those. Alabamians aren't able to bet on ball games through those apps today.
Not legally. And you have to. Well,
right.
it's
Right. Not legally.
It puts quite a damper on their business. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Actually, we experimented with this.
You did.
And it's not easy. No, because you have to provide information. Banking accounts.
And then if it says you're from here or banking here, they won't let you do it.
Yeah, they're not stupid.
Okay, so there is a hindrance there. That's what I've not understood because I don't do it.
Right.
Because I know the algorithm is made to take a certain portion of my money every time, and if I keep doing it, eventually the statistics take my money.
That's right.
The last thing you want is for these people to get a foothold in this state.
Yes.
We got enough problems.
We got enough problems.
So here's the deal.
We got to take a break.
Let's do that.
We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Welcome back in, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. We appreciate you listening to the show. We appreciate you telling people about the program. Let's get out to a couple of your phone calls here in this last break. Let's go to Soldier Boy. Welcome to the show, Soldier Boy.
Thank you, Scott, for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
And good morning to you, Ann.
Good morning.
Ann, you did a great job. I also want to say you did something that Scott doesn't do. You do more listening than less talking. I love you.
Oh, good job, Soldier Boy.
Well, it's true. That's one of the great communication skills and steps of communication. And the hardest job is listening. Anybody can talk and send a message. Anybody can.
Mm-hmm.
But the listener is the greatest skill there is. I used to tell people in the military all the time, and a good soldier is a person that listens to his troops. Okay, with this going, I can handle liars and I can handle cheats, but I cannot handle hypocrites big time.
Okay.
Hypocrites are like my number one enemy. For example, your last person, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I worked 5 years, for a casino in the state of Alabama, and working in surveillance, 5 years.
Okay.
And I'm lucky I eventually quit and retired because of a simple reason. After a while, I saw what gambling did to families. It just destroyed them left and right. And after a while, being a Christian and being a person of my own word and my own, understanding and teachings and raisings from my family, I could see what it was doing to family, and I just couldn't be a part of it anymore. Because if I get a paycheck from it, that means I'm making a profit off somebody else's misery and suffering. Okay, so I'm glad I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I haven't been back in 5 years after I quit too. So I just don't have any reason to. It's interesting about the state of Alabama being one of the biggest hypocrite states in the union. Is when I first came here, I tried to find a liquor store. Being an adult over 21, and I was in the military, just coming from Robins Air Force Base, and it was interesting that I couldn't find a liquor store. They told me to go to an ABC store. I'm like, what the heck? What the hell is an ABC store? Alabama Beverage Commission.
Right.
I said, and he told me, you know where I'm going with this, don't you, Ann?
Yeah, I do.
Here's my question. How can the state physically make a profit of other people's misery? Alcohol, I hate to say it. I don't mind a private business selling it because it's a free country, and I fought and defended it for 24 years and 6 months. But for the state to make a profit of people's misery of alcohol, what it does is destroy families. But then they turn around, we're against gambling. We're against gambling. Is there any difference, Ann?
No, but we know that my attitude is the economic cost.
I understand that too.
Yeah.
Well, ABC, the state makes money off liquor. What is that? The state's nothing but a big moonshiner.
And actually, there have been several bills and issues in the legislature for the government to get out of the business of
liquor business,
and they refuse
to
give up the money. I know.
It's too profitable. That's why they won't go out. They'll look the other way. They'll give up their morals and values just for the almighty buck on the altar.
That's right.
Because it's profitable. I understand it's profitable. I mean, I buy my liquor at the Class 6 store. It goes to the state of Alabama and doesn't have to get – because the state of Alabama is nothing but the middleman. Liquor comes in from the state, and as soon as it crosses that border, it gets taxed by the Alabama ABC, and then they sell it at their store,
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you're a private industry, a private liquor store, your liquor is going to be higher than it is in the ABC store because you have to pay the tax on it.
Right. So.
But at the base, you don't have – the base you can't because they can't touch it because it's federal. It's federal liquor coming across. They can't touch it. But they turn around and we're against gambling. We're against gambling. You know what? If you're against gambling, why don't you say I'm going to vote to abolish ABC?
Well, I did stand up to abolish ABC. So,
you did?
Yes, I did. I understand what you're talking about. But mine was an economic issue. Why is the state in the business of liquor when it should be private enterprise?
Well, Ann, here's the thing about it, Ann and Scott. Here's the thing about it. they're gonna make money off gambling too. They're gonna get it. Trust me, that ain't gonna ever pass without getting some cut, getting their fair cut with selling the licenses or getting a percentage of the winnings. Trust me. So it's gonna be economically profitable. That's the same story that we use for ABC.
Well, here's the difference: is gambling is a saturated market. We are surrounded by states. What is there? Only 3 to 5 states in the entire country that doesn't have gambling. It's a saturated market. How much does the state think they're going to make compared to what they're going to have to
here's
money
what's funny
put out?
Alabama is projected to generate roughly $28 million in annual tax revenue.
$28 million for the state's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Right. But that's the answer.
Yeah.
Down to Biloxi about once a month to play blackjack, okay?
Yeah.
When I go through the parking deck, guess who I see 3/4 of the license plates from what state?
Alabama and Georgia.
Alabama. Georgia's not even close.
Well, Georgia likes
It's
to
Alabama.
go to Biloxi. Yeah.
But the most of them are Alabama tags, and I'm just like, we're losing all this tax money. If they're going to decide to, that's an individual choice whether you gamble or drink alcohol, your choice. Okay, I defend those rights. That's why I got rid of prohibition. I don't have a problem with that. But let's get some tax money out of it and some benefits out of it if we're going to have it. If you're going to sell alcohol and say it doesn't destroy families, that's a lie, Ann. You know that.
I do know that. So
it does.
You need to check out the Mississippi budget before you say the state of Mississippi is making money off of Biloxi.
Hey, Soldier Boy, you're right. It's I appreciate it. I had some stuff to tell you about that, some background stuff, but I didn't want to talk.
Scott, well, good. Let Ann. It's Ann's show anyway today.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, let me ask you something, Scott. Here's my question is, can you do me a favor, you and Ann both, okay? We got the election coming up real soon, correct? State election?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you go over the amendments in depth?
Ann went over them earlier in the show today. So
I can.
I missed it because, and you need to repeat it every day because I think that's important because when we go to a vote, the average person just goes there and believes that 1 or 2 sentences that they read, and it's more in depth than each one.
You're right. Thanks, Soldier Boy. I appreciate you.
Okay. Today is my last day here before we vote, so I can't.
Yeah, we're probably not going to get there. We got to take a break. We'll be back. Hold on. Got it. I want to listen.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. Hey, don't forget Brian Dawson's podcast, 1819 News, the podcast. You can find it over at YouTube. So while you're, when you finish listening or watching our stream today, you can check out 1819 News, the podcast over there. Go over and subscribe, or you can find it at any of the places you usually listen to the podcast. You will love the last edition of it. Very controversial. He actually says multiple times at the start of it that it wasn't something he necessarily wanted to do or wanted to talk about, but just like we have done on this program, it became something that needed to be discussed. So go check it out, 1819 News, the podcast. Let's get out to Charles I of Dewey. We're supposed to have a pretty good guest in just a few moments if they get the time to call in. I think they're going to. Charles I, welcome to the program.
Hey Scott, hey Ann, how y'all doing?
Oh, we're hanging in there.
It's a good Wednesday.
Well, I was going to remind, since you had your guest there, Ann, from your area, that me and Stacy went on the last day of the legislature, and we were there waiting when they came back, like at 1:45 to continue the day. And the first one up there with anything was Jabo Wagner.
No, of course.
And yes, he took the little steps like Tim Conway takes on Carol Burnett being old, and he carried papers up there. It took him a minute, and then Will Ainsworth or somebody had to say, "Sir, that's not what we're doing. That's not the right paperwork." He goes back like Tim Conway and looks, and then this pretty lady comes from around the thing and has to help him and say, "Sir, these are the ones that we're doing right now," and walk up there with him to sit them down. And they then had to take like 20 minutes of time to do each one of his whatever they were, and I wanted to say that. And then I wanted to say the main problem that's allowing the gambling and the nonprofits and the LLCs is the passage of Citizens United versus FEC. And that needs, I think one citizen could probably say my voting power has been diminished by this decision, and have it go before. It's got to go back before the Supreme Court, and that's got to end, because as far as nonprofit goes, they can completely not tell a single person, and they're supposed to have a certain 10% of whatever they've given. Like, let's say they give $1 million to a candidate. Well, that means that's only 10%. That's just supposed to be 10% of their overall what they're using for helping whoever they're claiming to help. That means that should be $100 million. Do you get what I mean? But before they close down, they end their nonprofit. You never knew who they were. The money gets transferred, and they could be the person, for instance, that is over the one building your prison. And now they've got the $1 billion prison contract. You never knew who they were.
Right.
Anyway, I put an article with this on my News Talk, one word, radio on Quora, where I actually interview Andrew Sorrell about it. So you might want to go there and see that.
And check it out. Well, thanks.
But,
I appreciate you, Charles, the first. Thank you.
Take care, y'all.
Yes, sir. Well, we got our guest on. I know he's got a very, very busy schedule. Steve Marshall, who is the Attorney General here in the state of Alabama, is on the phone. I guess I should say General instead of Steve. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Scott, Steve, always works. But good to be with you. Anything going on this week?
No, it's been a slow week. Not really a lot to talk about. We did mention a little bit about redistricting stuff and the Supreme Court, but that's about all, man.
The SPLC as well. That investigation,
Yeah.
that was a real favorite around
I
here.
tell you, Scott, it was a good week 2 weeks ago when Calais came down.
Yes.
Because especially you can appreciate this as somebody who made arguments that weren't accepted right away and had to be validated and vindicated down the road.
Yes, sir.
We've been arguing this for a long time. You cannot use race as a factor to somehow or another cause a state to draw lines. And while we got there with a 5-4 decision, that we almost got it across the finish line a few years ago, Calais finally closed the deal. We were super excited to see Justice Alito and his analysis, and now Alabama's benefited from that, from the order that we got this week.
Attorney Marshall, can you tell people in the state, because we've talked about it a lot, but just a nutshell version, again, of what the Supreme Court said in that ruling and how or why it affects, well, apparently it's already affecting Alabama, Mississippi, the ruling, I guess, was Louisiana. I mean, it is going across the country.
Georgia has refused.
Well, they just, because they're
Tennessee
too
did.
many of Georgia is them as well. Too many of us are them. But so what is it in a nutshell?
Yeah, and so interesting because Louisiana was sued same time Alabama was, and like Alabama, the courts there found a violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. But what Louisiana did was go ahead and acquiesce and say, okay, we're going to draw this predominant districts using race as a way of guaranteeing Democrats representation in Congress.
Right.
And, God, it's just a crazy district. It has no connection to communities or boundaries of cities and counties, but was solely designed on race. And that was the case the Supreme Court had in front of it and said, this just can't be the law of the land. And while Alabama didn't do that same thing, and credit to our legislature for being able to say, we need to stay within the bounds of the law, we are going to benefit as a result of that because the court has totally changed how judges are supposed to review these Section 2 claims, which, by the way, weren't even a part of the original remedy for the voting rights cases. That was only 30 years after the fact did gerrymandering cases even become something that the left was using, and it abused it effectively. But now I think that tide has changed, and so we were able to get an order from the court this week that said, 3-judge panel, we're vacating your former decision where you imposed a map on Alabama because you didn't think we had enough minority-majority districts in our state, and glad to be able to see Governor Ivey act yesterday going ahead for the 4 congressional districts at issue, allowing us to be able to move forward with the election.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of gnashing of teeth with this whole thing, but I've always been fascinated that the states have been forced to draw districts based on race, and I think you said it best because they were really forcing Democrat seats in these states, and I've pointed out to people that, look, it wouldn't matter if every Republican district was held by a black American. the left would still scream that we don't have our representation. And then you get into this whole argument of, well, are people voting Democrat only because how they look? And it's a weird place that leftists don't like to talk about, but they've used it as a tool for a very long time. And I want to give you credit. Now, again, on the phone is Steve Marshall, the Attorney General here in the state of Alabama. Steve, I know you have worked long and hard on this case and other cases like it. How frustrating is it to be a person who understands right and wrong and morality, and let's just treat people as people? We don't care how much melanin's in their skin. We don't care how tall they are, short they are, fat they are, skinny they are. We should treat people as individuals. When you go before like the 11th Circuit or whoever, and you know they're going to rule against the state because there's this long, weird, convoluted, they can see into your soul and say, oh, well, Alabama's drawing these districts for a bad reason. How frustrating was that through all these years trying to make a argument that says, hey, we just want people to be seen as people?
Yeah, and for Alabama to be treated fairly. If you look, when the Voting Rights Act came about, no doubt there were targeted impediments to minority voting that needed to change. It has changed.
Correct.
And if you look at where we are in Alabama 2026, we've had the largest minority voting turnout that we've ever had in our state's history, which means that we're doing our job. And now Democrats need to win at the ballot box as opposed to being guaranteed districts, is what the Voting Rights Act has done. And what we've argued all along is where courts are looking at Alabama from a lens of black and white, it's really about the question of red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
We're a conservative state. We want conservative representation. And by the way, why are we not somehow or another pointing sort of that same camera at New England that has solely Democratic representation while a significant number of Republicans, and somehow or another believe that the South needs to be treated differently? It shouldn't.
Yeah, I made the recommendation to the legislature, Steve, that we draw districts, take out all the racial demographic data out of the database, draw 7 Republican districts, and call it the New England plan.
Hey, I love it. I'm going to steal that line.
You got it, man. You can have it. Steve Marshall is my guest. Can you stay with us one more segment, Steve?
I can.
All right, we got to take a break. Steve Marshall, the Attorney General here in the state of Alabama, is with us. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I am Scott Beason. Thank you for listening. We got a special guest on with us, Steve Marshall, who is the Attorney General here in the state of Alabama. And I'm going to ahead and just confess a little bit that I probably said more positive things about Steve Marshall yesterday than I've said about an elected official in a long time. So I'm ashamed of myself, Steve, but I bragged on you a lot yesterday, and I appreciate the work that you have been doing, not only in this case, but in a lot of cases that the state has been involved in. And I told our listeners, some states have attorney generals who say they're going to do these things, and then when it comes crunch time, they just magically don't engage. And so I appreciate what you've been doing.
Well, hey, it's been a privilege to be able to do that. Hey, Miss Ann.
Hey, I talked to you Saturday, and I want to let the people know, if you ever see Steve Marshall at an event or out in public and you ask him a question, he's going to explain probably more than what you want to know, but he is a true servant of the people. And you get that when you talk to him. And because I was asking him about, the redistricting and how it was going, because this was Saturday before the ruling came down. And Steve was very positive that he thought it would go our way. And obviously it did. So congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, we're pleased. And then one thing that just people aren't necessarily picking up on is we still have the battle over the 2 state Senate seats in River Region. Okay. And we are before the judge who ruled against us in that case as well, asking for a ruling by tomorrow. So those that care an awful lot about Will Barfoot, for example, who I think does a great job, this is one to be able to follow, because if in fact we get the relief similar to what we got from the Supreme Court, then Governor Ivey can also issue an order from her pushing back the primary so we can go back to the other districts. So that's going to be one to watch.
So you're telling me that she's going to push the May 19th primary or the August?
No, this would be, remember, August is right now only limited to the 4 congressional districts.
Right.
But if we're able to get the win on the 2 River Region districts, the Kurt Hatcher,
it would add them to the primary.
Oh.
Then they would be able to issue another order to push them back to August 2.
Oh, great. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion about the May 19th and the August that I think we're going to have to work on. And, we can do a show on it later, but I really appreciate your efforts in getting this done.
Steve,
no, and it needs to happen.
Yeah, it does. Let me ask you a couple other things, because I know you're very, very busy, and we appreciate you taking time. You got campaigns to do, and you've got to defend the state and everything else. There's a big push coming now from a number of Democrats about a 2022 amendment that the people of the state ratified because the legislature thought they needed to do something. And it says that you can't change election law 6 months before an election. Where are we on that? Does that have any does it got any wheels on it, or can you say?
Yeah, I think we have not seen it used yet as a challenge. But look, Scott, I won't be surprised if it is. But we believe that amendment relates directly to the November election. We're outside of that window, and so the change that Governor Ivey made, we think, is consistent with what that constitutional amendment provides, and it's only of a limited nature, and we think we have good arguments to push back on that.
Yeah, I saw some of the guys or folks from the Southern Poverty Law Center saying that yesterday or the day before, that they were going to try this route. And speaking of the Southern Poverty Law Center, I can say that a lot of Republicans through the years have been scared of the SPLC. They never wanted to be called a bad name by them or whatever. And clearly you are proving with some of your office's actions that you don't seem to be too worried about what they say about people. And can you say anything about what the Attorney General's office is doing, at least concurrently with what the federal government's doing when it comes to the SPLC? I don't know how much you can say, and if you say you can't say anything, I respect that as well.
No, we can talk a little bit. Definitely we're pleased to be involved early on with the Department of Justice when they began their criminal investigation. It's now resulted in the indictment of the SPLC. I'm pleased that we had a chance to do that. But now, along with my colleague in Florida, I don't know if you're aware of that, but James Ootmeyer, we're using our Consumer Protection Authority and have both issued subpoenas around the same idea, which is, all right, SPLC, you paid these informants. What did you pay them? Who are they connected to? What information did you get? And most importantly, how did you leverage that to kind of fuel your cash engine? So AGs have Consumer Protection Authority around fraud. You have the ability, not to a broad sense, but a very targeted way to look at charitable organizations. And we think this is right for us to be able to review records. So if the SPLC is complaining, maybe they need to look at answering our subpoenas, and then we can go from there.
That's a fair point, Steve Marshall. I appreciate it, man, and thank you so much. I want to give you the last couple of segments. If there's anything else, or last couple of minutes, if there's anything else you want to tell the people of the state of Alabama about what's going on with redistricting, and even if you want to mention that you are running for office as well, running for the United States Senate, if you want to tell people how they can hear about you or whatever you want them to know.
Well, thanks, Scott. Right now, sleep is overrated, right? I mean, we have an obligation to make sure we're as aggressive as we can be on the redistricting front, because we got to make sure that this gets right. And we still have work with a 3-judge panel that's not ruled in our favor in the past, but I think the Supreme Court sent a really strong message there. And look, we're going to continue to battle this one to the end. But no, just I think more than anything else, I'm so appreciative of what I've had a chance to be able to do, and the organizations that we've had a chance to work together with. And I think we've had some wonderful gains and victories in this state. I just look at every day the kids now that aren't going to have testosterone shots in their legs or puberty blockers or surgeries on their bodies because they are struggling with confusion that's created by social media and the leftist agenda. So thankful for what I do. Looking forward to May 19th. Hope folks will give us strong consideration for Senate, and grateful for what I've had a chance to be able to do.
And where's a website they can find you at, Steve?
Yeah, we have the AG side is alabamaag.gov, and they can keep up with what's going on there. And then on the Senate, stevemarshallforsenate.com.
You got it. We appreciate you, buddy. Have a great one, man. Thanks for making time for us.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
That is Steve Marshall. He's the Attorney General here in the state of Alabama, playing a big role in what has gone on with the courts when it comes to redistricting. He's taken the AG's office and worked with AGs across the country to do a number of conservative things. And as you were hearing about the Southern Poverty Law Center, he and the Attorney General out of the state of Florida working together. So, I don't know when he sleeps, but you have to give credit where credit is due. If I was, if I disagree with Steve Marshall on something, I would disagree. But he deserves a lot of credit for what has happened, and he's been proved himself as a person who will fight the fight.
Yeah, I hate that he can't run for AG again, because we really hate to see him leave that office.
Right. Well, we got to take a break, and we appreciate him
job.
being on, and I do not disagree with you, Ann. We'll be right back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I appreciate you listening to the program. Steve Marshall was on. He's the Attorney General in the state of Alabama. He's also, it was odd, and he, you know, a lot of people when they're running for office, especially big offices, you can't get them to stop. Hey, don't forget me, don't forget me.
Right.
And I had to drag it out of the Attorney General that he was running for the United States Senate, which I thought was interesting.
Well, yeah.
Because he's like, I'm here to do Attorney General stuff.
Right.
Is basically what it felt like.
I was shocked that he didn't talk about his race.
Right.
But when I saw him Saturday, we talked law. We didn't talk about his race.
Right.
We talked about.
I thought that was a plus.
Well,
really, because I mean,
people.
He's like, this is what I'm doing. This is what my job is, and
the race is secondary.
If they think I did a good enough job, they'll vote for me for the Senate. So I thought that was good. What did you think, Sky?
Well, I know the Attorney General was overwhelmed because of our discussion off the air. I went ahead and revealed to him that I had pre-awarded him my Fickle Finger of Fate award for the month of May, and he just, he was overcome with joy. Yeah. So
he spends a lot of time going all across the country and a lot of time in D.C. with these battles that we're fighting. So,
but as far as him not campaigning on the air during the interview, I think Attorney General Marshall is doing his talking
by working
on the job. So
okay.
That's kind of the feeling I got.
Not by my words, but my deeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
So that's an interesting race, and we started the show. We got to take a break again.
I didn't see that. No,
okay, I thought you were just telling you were number one. Okay,
that was
good.
A well done to Ann.
Thank you.
So we started talking about that race at the very, very start, and we got to the third candidate. So the top three candidates are Barry Moore, Steve Marshall.
Yeah, Steve
and
Marshall.
then the third one we were going to get to is Jared Hudson.
Yes.
Who has really on social media and on television just all of a sudden is everywhere.
Right.
And I just didn't know what people think. I mean, he's not held an elected office yet. He was in the military.
He's pretty.
He's what?
He's pretty.
Does that matter?
To me?
Oh, yes, it does. Ask Richard Nixon if it matters.
Oh.
Yes, it does.
No. Yeah, he started.
You don't think there's going to be women that'll vote for him because he's pretty?
And you were in the legislature. Come on, man. Come on.
They're looking at this from a logical standpoint, and
Yeah.
I'm appalled. I am appalled.
You are
shocked, I tell you.
I'm going to chain myself to a fence outside by the railroad tracks in protest at such a misogynistic comment.
Well, that's okay. You can chain yourself anywhere you want to. He started out specifically as a conservative candidate, going to all, all of the conservative women and groups, and I think and I can just about point to when it happened. At the annual meeting of the Republican Women, we had a guest speaker who was a senator from Alabama. And from that point on, it seemed like Jared Hudson has a lot more money, a lot more visibility. His message has moderated. And I just think that your topic of sometimes Washington decides that there's a candidate that they feel like they want more than the other two who might not be on the same track as they are. And I really think that's what happened.
You really do? Because I have not. I've not followed his campaign that much. But you think
yes,
Jared Hudson's campaign changed from kind of bull in the china shop, I'm the new guy,
and not
to
having money and not having big backing.
Right.
Yeah. And
To being everywhere.
Yeah. And I think the reason is he's the candidate. They don't want Barry Moore because he's a Freedom Caucus, 100%
right.
conservative.
And they tried to
vote.
beat Barry Moore in his own congressional race by putting him in the same district as somebody else.
Jerry Carl.
And then Washington poured tons of money into Carl.
Yep.
And Barry won that. And then you've got Marshall, who, as he mentioned, has fought against transgender surgeries, all the redistricting.
Yep. So now, do I need to give my disclaimer again?
Yes, give your disclaimer again, Ann.
This is my opinion and not necessarily the opinion of the host, the sponsors, or the
Sky.
Broadcast
Hey, man.
media. Or Sky.
Although it does sound kind of familiar to a recent Senate race that I can recall.
Yeah, the
Where
one
a
that
lot
I
of
had
money-
international press.
Yeah.
Because of
Is there a connection between that race and this race?
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying the same powers that be who chose. So we're back to what I said again. And this is one of the things I always find fascinating. And people can call and tell me what they think. It amazes me when you have, in the last race, you had 2. And then now even our 2 U.S. senators, 2 again. In this race, you have 3 at least, maybe 4 or 5, but there's 3 big names. And if you made a checklist of, are you pro-life, are you for, all the check boxes are the same.
Yes.
Probably 99 out of 100 are the same. And all of a sudden, Washington decides, oh, we like that one. I want to know what I don't know. I want to know how they decided, hey, this is our guy now. This is our girl. If all the answers are the same, you would think Washington would say, hey, we got 3 winners here. They're all conservative. They all think the same. We'll go spend our money in California. We'll go spend our money in Utah. We'll go spend our money in Texas, wherever. Maybe there's a seat we can pick up. But no, they have to weigh in on Republican primaries in Alabama, and I think it is fair for Alabamians to ask, what is the issue? What is the deal? What was the thing that made Washington, D.C., squishy, rhino-esque Republicans, Mitch McConnell kind of Republicans, John Thune kind of Republicans, say, no, we need to be in that Alabama race to pick our guy? Mm-hmm. I think that is a fair question for Alabamians to ask.
Well, I think it's more of who they don't want as opposed to who they do want. And out of the 3 running, those are the 3 front runners. Mm-hmm. So there are 2 that they obviously don't want. Steve Marshall would be a standalone independent.
Right.
Barry Moore is a Freedom Caucus 100%.
Yeah, he'll tell the establishment no.
Yes.
Right.
What's left?
So you're saying it's not necessarily, not always a knock, but it might be like when you're in a basketball tournament or you're looking at the standings and you're like, okay, who are we going to play in the football SEC championship game? Man, I hope Mississippi State beats Georgia because I don't want to play Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Right.
That kind of thing. Not because you necessarily love Mississippi State, but you just don't want to play Georgia later. So that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well,
a calculation that says we as the people in power think we might be able to work with this person.
Yeah, because he's a newbie. The other 2 are not newbies.
Okay.
They're already proven.
They're proven.
That's an interesting take. I think that's a fair that's a fair evaluation. You've lived that before. We got to take a break. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason, and Eubank is with me. We'll be right back.
Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. So we had a caller call in who wanted me to ask, and we just didn't have time. We had the Attorney General on, and the Attorney General really can't do anything about crossover voting. I'm not going to answer for him, but I would say that not the issue of crossover voting, but I think that the Attorney General should be concerned about crossover voting, because crossover voting has become the way that the establishment, in league with Democrats, chooses Republican nominees in Republican primaries.
Yep.
And that, look, it's just a thing, because they know that the Democrat Party is smoked in the state of Alabama. And so if they're going to get someone who is more open to Democrat ideas and more squishy, to use a scientific term, they have to come and play in Republican primaries, which is one of the reasons the Republican establishment and leadership won't pass the closed primaries bills, because many of them also need to have Democrats come vote in Republican primaries to help elect them.
And have said so out loud.
Oh, yes. They don't even hide it.
Yeah.
It's funny. The Democrats are all open with it. And the Republicans are like, la, 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 la. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. La, 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 la.
You know, it seems like everybody's elected Republicans in this state except the voters.
Except for the conservative
Yeah,
base
except for the
Republican
conservative voters that
yes.
should be. That's
And that's what they do is they're not voting for somebody, they're voting to stop somebody.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Just like they did in the Tim James race, Lindy Blanchard, Kay Ivey race, Katie Britt, Mo Brooks race. Any race that had 65-35 in the last election, that's who the Democrats crossed over to vote for. And I expect them to do that this time. The question is, which races are they going to target? Tuberville's going to win. I mean, he'd probably walk away with 80% of the Republican vote.
Yeah.
The lieutenant governor race is wide open. There's several candidates that, I don't want to have.
I mean, I have a good idea. I was going to say, well, who do I ask among the Republican establishment? Hey, who have y'all made the deal with the Democrats for to come and support in the Republican primary? And I'm pretty sure I know who the leader of this movement is. It would be someone who's been involved in statewide races, who have helped Democrats win statewide races before.
And has the power and the money.
Yes, but I'm not going to say it because it could be, because it's just my opinion, but I just think, but think about this. Because there's people out there saying, well, I don't think Democrats are going to cross over, because the Democrats, they have their own primary, Scott Beason. I don't know. So let me give you the 4 people, according to AI, running for the U.S. Senate in Alabama as Democrats, and then you stop for a second and say, ask yourself, and I know I'm not supposed to say you, ask ourselves if we've heard of any of these people, okay? No need. No, Democrats are going to go vote in their own primary, right? Because they've got to go choose between Dakari Lariat, Kyle Sweetser, Everett West, and Mark Wheeler. Have you heard of any of those people?
Not me.
Narrow one. Nope.
And I'm not as saturated as I used to be in
Right.
politics, but I generally know
Who's running.
Who's running.
And it's nothing against these people. They're probably 4 fine people. My point is, there is no interest. No one's paying attention. So if no one, including Democrats, regular rank and file Democrats, are paying attention to that U.S. Senate race, what U.S. Senate race are they paying attention to?
Exactly.
The one they can affect. That's
That's exactly right. Because why go waste your vote over here if you can go have an effect in the Republican one?
That's right.
And then you've got the governor's race on the Democrat side. Everybody can you give me, here's the we need to have prizes, Sky.
Okay.
Can you give me 2? You don't win any prize for giving me 1 Democrat who's running for governor. Okay?
Oh, man, I had it.
You got 1.
I think
Everybody
I know
knows 1.
Right.
How many people know that there are 6 people running for governor on the Democrat side?
I wouldn't think too many are aware of that.
Almost no one. So
And almost nobody
I
cares
did not
either.
know that. I
Scott.
only thought there was 1.
Yeah, they don't care. There's 6. It's
care.
Doug Jones, which is the one that doesn't win you any prizes.
No.
Will Boyd, Jamel Brown, Yolanda Flowers, Chad Martin, and Nathan Mathis.
I do know Chad Martin.
Yeah. Does he really go by Chig?
Chig. Yeah, that's his nickname.
That's cool.
He used to
I hope
be
there's like his older brother made it up,
Yeah,
when he
probably
was
so.
born. His
Called
older
him a
brother's like
chigger.
3. Yeah.
He used to be a Republican, and when he couldn't win, he switched to the Democrat side, and obviously he can't win there either.
So
I
if
have
no
to
one,
admit,
what?
I know of Jamel Brown.
Do
he
you?
is like the Shorty Price of Montgomery, only he's not quite as much of a character. He's more
Oh,
of
okay.
a,
So you've heard of one of these.
yes.
But again, Democrats are not worried about this. So what are they worried about? I think they're worried about the Republican primary.
Right.
The one we can't manage year after year after year to have a closed primary. And then what might happen is Republicans will wake up and go, dang,
How'd that happen?
who's in the runoff or who won without a
Yep.
runoff? I didn't know. My friends, who voted this way? A bunch of Democrats voted this way. Let's go to the phone calls. JJ, welcome to the program.
Hey, Scott.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jim.
that's why they've been doing that for years. That's why we have so many rhinos, not only in our Alabama legislature, but in Washington. So, they have rhinos all over the states. I mean, look at John Thune. Look at the mess he's making up there, holding up everything.
Yes, ma'am.
But, and I know y'all have to give a disclaimer, but callers can give their own personal opinion, right?
Yes,
about who
you
they
can.
want.
Yes, you may.
Well, listen, I've been for Steve Marshall because if you look at his record in Alabama, it's great. I mean, what has he not done for Alabama that we would want him to do? I mean, maybe y'all can tell me some. But the things I've made note of are things I've watched him over the years, and I just think he's been a great AG, and so I hope if he goes to the Senate, he will do a great job there. And I agree with Ann. Hey, Ann.
Hey, JJ.
Everybody agrees with Ann because Ann listens.
Yeah.
You should have Ann every day on your show.
No,
And,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Scott has a gift I do not have.
JJ,
Well,
we
you
appreciate you,
have
babe.
lots of
Appreciate you, babe. Appreciate you. We got to end the show, Sky.
That's it.
We'll try to be back tomorrow. See y'all.